Russia-Ukraine War Update, November 7th, 2025. Good morning, afternoon. Welcome to your channel. This is day 1353 of Russia's full-scale invasion. I'm your name, and today we're covering the latest strikes, frontline battles, casualty reports, and diplomatic moves that could shift the war's course. Let's break it down step by step with the facts from verified sources, starting with Ukraine's drone campaign against Russian energy targets. Overnight into November 6th, Ukraine launched at least 75 drones deep into Russian territory, focusing on the Volgograd region in the south. This was the second major hit on the Lukoil Volgograd oil refinery in under 3 months of facility that processes 15.7 million tons of oil annually, about 5.6% of Russia's total refining capacity. Explosions and a massive fire broke out in the Krasnoarmysk industrial district, forcing the refinery to halt operations entirely. Russian officials confirmed one civilian killed by shrapnel, a 48-year-old man in a nearby apartment building, and dozens of flights grounded at 13 airports nationwide. Debris from downed drones also damaged an electrical substation in the area. This isn't isolated. Just days earlier, on November 2nd, Ukrainian drones struck the Tups oil terminal on Russia's Black Sea coast, key Rosneft-operated export hub handling millions of tons of crude and products yearly. The attack damaged loading infrastructure, set a tanker ablaze, caused an oil spill stretching kilometers into the Black Sea. Environmental groups estimate cleanup could take 3 to 10 years. Ukraine's general staff called it a long-term blow to Russia's war funding, as these sites fuel military logistics and generate billions in export revenue. Since August, QE strikes have hit over 160 oil facilities, slashing Russia's fuel exports to their lowest since the invasion began and sparking domestic shortages that are hitting Russian civilians hard. Shifting to the front lines, the battle for Pokrovsk in Donetsk Oblast remains the war's hottest spot now, over a year long, with nearly 1/3 of all frontline clashes happening there. Russian forces are pushing hard to encircle Ukrainian defenders in the city's ruins. A pre-war hub of 60,000, now down to under 1,300 residents amid constant glide bomb barrages. Geolocated footage shows Russian advances in southeastern Pokrovsk, southern Murmurad to the east, and eastern Rodinsk to the north. Tactics, including small group infiltrations disguised as civilians, which Ukrainian sources call a war crime under the Geneva Conventions. Moscow claims it's tightening the noose with troops inside the city and eyeing nearby Konstantinivka as a next step toward Kramatorsk and Sloviansk. Ukraine's not yielding. Special forces from the SBU's Alpha unit released footage of drone strikes and close-quarters fights near Pokrovsk, destroying Russian tanks and positions. Commander-in-Chief Oleksandr Syrsky says a comprehensive operation is underway to push back infiltrators, with reinforcements, including helicopters, landing under fire to resupply troops. But the cost is brutal. Experts warn holding Pokrovsk could trap units in a shrinking pocket, and some analysts suggest a tactical withdrawal to save lives for future fights. Half of Russia's deadly glide bombs are dropping here, turning streets to rubble and testing Ukraine's drone defenses in urban chaos. Now, the grim numbers on casualties. Ukraine's general staff reports Russia has lost over 1.1 million troops total since February 2022, with 1,170 killed or wounded in the last day alone. Independent trackers like Mediazona and Meduza confirm over 219,000 Russian deaths by August, with irrecoverable losses dead or severely wounded hitting 440,000 to 650,000 by mid-year. In October, SBU units in Pokrovsk alone killed 1,500 Russians and wrecked 20 tanks, 62 armored vehicles, and 532 transports. For Ukraine, verified losses stand at 79,213 confirmed dead and 81,728 missing as of late. October totaling nearly 161,000 dead or missing per the ULS's project. Zelensky updated in February that over 46,000 Ukrainian soldiers killed and 380,000 wounded, with half recovering to fight on. It's a war of attrition, with Russia losing 5 soldiers for every Ukrainian in some estimates, but both sides bleeding generations dry. On the diplomatic front, eyes are on Washington today. U.S. President Donald Trump is hosting Hungary's Viktor Orban at the White House, a Putin ally pushing for a Trump-Putin summit in Budapest to broker Ukraine peace. Orban, Trump's great leader, wants exemptions from U.S. oil sanctions so Hungary can keep buying Russian crude. Despite EU pressure, a prior summit collapsed after Russia's Sergei Lavrov refused to soften on Ukraine, sparking rift rumors with Putin denied by the Kremlin. Zelensky says Ukraine backs talks only if they guarantee a ceasefire, not a frozen conflict. Orban claims resolving 1 or 2 issues could lead to a deal in days. But NATO's Mark Rutte warns Europe must outgun and outproduce Russia without waiting for U.S. shifts. Elsewhere, Ukraine's special forces hit an oil depot and logistics in occupied Crimea, while Russian rebels sabotaged dozens of military trains. South Africa probes its citizens fighting as Russian mercenaries. And a Russian soldier got life for executing a Ukrainian POW. A German general warns Russia could probe NATO with limited attacks anytime, despite being bogged down here. That's your full update for November 7th. The war is grinding, and drones disrupting Russia's wallet, Pokrovsk hanging by a thread, and talks that might or might not bring relief. What's your take? Ceasefire soon, or more blood? Comment below, like if this cleared things up, share for awareness, and check sources in the description. Stay informed. See you next time.